Alrighty, here is the Unteachables. This is going to be chapter 1 just because I know some people have missed it, so I'm going to fill you in. You can feel free to just turn me off and read the pages yourself if you want, but I'm doing this for anyone who wants to hear my lovely voice say the words for them. Alrighty, so let me just find the page here. Alrighty, chapter 1, Kiana Rubini. It's no fun riding to school with Stepmonster. Not with Chauncey, screaming his lungs out in the back seat. Don't get me wrong, I'd cry too if I just figured out that Stepmonster is my mother. But at 7 months old, I don't think he's processed that yet. He just cries. He cries when he's hungry. He cries when he's full. He cries when he's tired. He cries when he wakes up after a long nap. Basically, any day that ends in Y, Chauncey cries. There also seems to be a connection between his volume control and the gas pedal of the SUV. The louder he howls, the faster Stepmonster drives. Who's a happy baby? She coos over her shoulder in the back seat where the rear-facing car seat is anchored. Who's a happy big boy? Not Chauncey, that's for sure, I tell her. Hey, school zone, you better slow down. She speeds up. Motion is soothing to the baby. Maybe so, but as we slalom up the driveway, swerving around parked parents dropping off their kids, and screech to a halt by the entrance, it turns out to be one motion too many. Chauncey throws up his breakfast. Suddenly, there's cereal on the ceiling and dripping down the windows. That's another thing about Chauncey. His stomach is a food expander. It goes in a teaspoon and it comes out 5 gallons. Get out of the car, Stepmonster orders frantically. You have to come with me. I protest. They won't let me register without an adult. She looks frazzled, and I guess I don't blame her. That much baby puke must be hard to face. I'll run home and change him and wipe down the car. Wait for me. 10-15 minutes, tops. What can I do? I haul my backpack out of the SUV and she zooms off around the circular drive. I don't even have the chance to make my usual Parmesan cheese joke. That's what it smells like when Chauncey barfs. When I first came from California to stay with Dad and Stepmonster, I thought they ate a lot of Italian food. That was a disappointment, one of many. So there I am in front of Greenwich Middle School, watching swarms of kids arriving for their first day of classes. A few of them glance in my direction, but not many. New girl, who cares? Actually, I'm the new girl who doesn't care much either. I'm a short timer. I'm only in Greenwich for a couple of months while Mum is off in Utah shooting a movie. She's not a star or anything like that, but this could be her big break. After years of paying bills with just bit parts in sitcoms and TV commercials, she's finally landed an independent film. Well, no way I could ever go with her for 8 weeks, not that I was invited. Eventually the bell rings and the crowd melts into the school. No Stepmonster. I'm officially late, which isn't the best way to start my career in Greenwich. But short-timers don't stress over things like that. Long before it could come back to haunt me on a report card, I'll be ancient history. I check on my phone. It's been 20 minutes since she said 10-15 at most. That's SST, Stepmonster Standard Time. I try calling, but she doesn't pick up. Maybe that means she's on her way and will be here any second. But a lot of seconds tick by. No barf-encrusted SUV. With a sigh, I sit myself down on the bench at the student drop-off and prop my backpack on the armrest beside me. Stepmonster, her real name is Louise, isn't all that monstrous when you think about it. She was way less out of touch than Dad, which might be because she's closer to my age than to his. She isn't exactly thrilled with the idea of having an 8th grader dropped in her lap over right when she's getting the hang of being a new mom. She's trying to be nice to me. She just isn't succeeding. Like when she strands me in front of a strange school when she's supposed to be here to get me registered. The roar of an engine jolts me back to myself. For a second I think it must be her, but no, a rusty old pickup truck comes sailing up the roadway, much faster than even Stepmonster would dare. As it reaches the bend in the circular drive, the front tire climbs the curb, and the pickup is coming right at me. Acting on instinct alone, I hurl myself over the back of the bench and out of the way. The truck misses the bench by about a centimeter. The side mirror knocks off my book bag, off the armrest, and sending it airborne. The contents, binders, papers, pencil case, gym shorts, sneakers, lunch are scattered to the 4 winds, raining down onto the pavement. The pickup screeches to a halt, the driver jumps out, and she rushes after my fluttering stuff. As he runs, papers fly out of his shirt pocket. He's chasing his own things, not just mine. I join the hunt, and that's when I get my first look at the guy. He's a kid, like around my age. Why are you driving? I gasped, still in shock from the near miss. I have a license, he replies, like it's the most normal thing in the world. No way, I shoot back. You're no older than I am. I'm 14. He digs around in his front pocket and pulls out a laminated card. It's got a picture of his stupid face all over the name Parkus Elias. At the top, it says provisional license. Provisional, I ask. I'm allowed to drive for the family business, he explains. Which is what, a funeral parlor? You almost killed me. Our farm, he replies. I take the produce to the market. Plus, I take my Grams to the senior center. She's old, and she doesn't drive anymore. I've never met a farmer before. There aren't a lot of those in LA. I knew Greenwich was kind of in the boonies, but I never expected to be going to school with old MacDonald. He hands me my book bag, with my stuff crammed in every which way. There's a gaping hole where the mirror blasted through the vinyl. I'm running late, he stammers. Sorry about the backpack. And he jumps in his pickup and he wheels it into the parking space and he races into the building, studiously avoiding my glare. Still no sign of Stepmonster on the horizon. I call again, straight to voicemail. I decided to tackle the school on my own. Maybe I can get a head start filling out the forms or something. The office is a madhouse. It's packed with kids who A, lost their schedule, B, don't understand their schedules, or C, are trying to get their schedule changed. When I tell the harassed secretary that I'm waiting for my parent or guardian so I can register, she just points to the chair and ignores me. Even though I have nothing against Greenwich Middle School, I decide I hate it. Who can blame me? It's mostly Chauncey's fault, but let's not forget Parker McFarmer and his provisional license. My phone pings a text from Stepmonster. Taking Chauncey to the pediatrician. Do your best without me. We'll get there ASAP. The secretary comes out from behind the counter and stands before me frowning. We don't use our phones in school. You'll have to turn that off and leave it in your locker. I don't have a locker, I tell her. I just moved here. I have no idea where I'm supposed to be. She plucks a paper from the sheaf sticking out of the hole in my backpack. It's right here on your schedule. Schedule? Where would I get a schedule? I don't even officially go here yet. You're supposed to be in room 117. She rattles off a complicated series of directions. Now off you go. And off I go. I'm so frazzled that I'm halfway down the main hall before I glance at the paper that's supposed to be a schedule. It's a schedule, all right, just not mine. At the top it says, Elias Parker, grade 8. This is Parker McFarmer's schedule. Must have gotten mixed up with my papers when we were gathering all my stuff. I take 3 steps back in the direction of the office, and then I freeze. I don't want to face that secretary again. There's no way she's going to register me without Stepmonster. And if there's a backlog at the pediatrician's, I'm going to be sitting in that dumb chair all day. No thanks. I weigh my options. It's only a 15-minute walk home, but home isn't really home, and I don't want to be there any more than I want to be here. If I went through all the trouble of waking up and getting ready for school, then school is where I might as well be. My eyes return to Parker's schedule. Room 117. Okay, it's not my class, but it's a class. And really, who cares? It's not like I'm going to learn picking anything in the next 2 weeks. At least nothing I can't pick up on PDQ when I get back to civilization. I am a pretty good student. When Stepmom Monster finally gets here, they can page me and send me to the right place. Not that I'll learn anything there either. I've already learned one lesson at Greenwich Middle School has to teach me. 14-year-olds shouldn't drive. That's when I learned lesson number 2. This place is a maze. My school in LA is all outdoors. You step out of class and you're in a glorious sunshine. You know where you're going next because you can see it across the quad. And the numbers make sense. Here, 109 is close to 111, but the room next to that is labeled storage closet E61/B2, co-figure. I ask a couple of kids who are actually trying to tell me that there's no such room as 117. There has to be. I tell the second guy, I'm in it. I show him the schedule, careful to cover the name with my thumb. Wait. His brow furrows. He points to the class description. SCS-8. I blink. Instead of a normal schedule where you'd go to different classes every period, this says Parker stays in a room 117 all day. Not that, but under subject, it repeats the code SES-8 for every hour except lunch at 12:08. Oh, here it is. I skipped to the bottom, where there's a key explaining what the code means. SES-8, self-contained special 8th grade class. He stares at me. The Unteachables? Unteachables, I echo. He reddens. You know, like the Untouchables, only, babbling now. These kids aren't untouchable. They're, well, unteachable. Bye! He rushes off down the hall. And I just know I could read it in his face, but I didn't even need that much information. Where would you stick a guy who could annihilate a backpack with a half-ton pickup truck? The Unteachables are the dummy class. We have a group like that in my middle school in California. We call them the Disoriented Express, but it's the same thing. Probably every school has that. I almost march back to the office to complain when I remember I've got nothing to complain about. Nobody put me in the Unteachables, just Parker. From what I've seen, he's in the right place. I picture myself sitting at the office all day waiting for the step monster to arrive, if she arrives. Chauncey's health scares, which happen roughly every 8 minutes, stress her out to the point where she can't focus on anything else. To quote Dad, "Geez Louise." He really says that, an example of the sense of humor, the non-California branch of my family. So I go to room 117. Turns out it's in the far corner of the school, over by the metal shop and home and careers room in the custodian's office. You have to walk past the gym, and the whole hallway smells like old sweat socks mixed with faint barbecue scent. It's only temporary, I remind myself, and since the whole time in Greenwich is temporary anyway, it's more like a temporary squared. Besides, dummy class, Disoriented Express, Unteachables, so what? Okay, maybe they're not academic superstars. They're just kids, no different than anybody else. Even Parker, he's a menace to society behind the wheel of a truck. But besides that, he's a normal 8th grader, like the rest of us. Seriously, how unteachable can the Unteachables be? I push open the door, and I walk into room 117. A plume of smoke is pouring from the single open window. It's coming from the fire roaring in the wastebasket in the center of the room. A handful of kids are gathered around, toasting marshmallows skewered on the end of number 2 pencils. Parker is one of them. His own marshmallows blackened like a charcoal... I don't know what that word is. Briquette? An annoyed voice barks, "Hey, shut the door. You want to get the smoke, set off the smoke detectors in the hall?" Oh my God, I'm with the Unteachables.